Well, part of the job of Democrats is to explain whose fault this is. So I actually think this could be a very consequential moment where, if not a stop sign, maybe it's a speed bump for Donald Trump, and at least some awareness that the power of the purse resides with Congress and not solely with the executive.
We've
Yes.
got the budget resolution, which we just heard from Schumer that Democrats are not going to support in the Senate. That so it appears there's going to have to be some sort of negotiation. I'm just curious your thoughts about where things stand and how likely do you think we are going to have a shutdown?
Well, here's a great instance in which I think independent media and popular involvement made a difference. I think Schumer very much wanted to sign this continuing resolution, and it looked like he was headed that way. There was a lot of activity on the Hill. And what happened is a lot of prominent voices, Contrarian, Bulwark, other independent media outlets on social media, on Substack, began to raise the issue. What are you guys doing here? This is the rare chance that Senate Democrats have some leverage, and to simply rubber stamp not a continuing resolution that merely continues Joe Biden's budget, but in essence sanctions a lot of what Elon Musk has been doing, would be a grave mistake. And you know what? Politicians do listen. And there does become an amplification effort. And very soon, within 24, 36 hours, the sentiment on the Hill changed dramatically. And that's because people on social media, engaged viewers, independent media, other outlets began to explain why this is a problem. And although we have a fragmented media, we also have a media that is capable of amplification. And I think they sufficiently made the point, and now the conversation in the Senate is, what do they use their leverage for? What could they ask for that would have some meaning? And there are a number of possibilities, including putting back funds that were essentially illegally and unconstitutionally impounded by Elon Musk. Another would be to extract some kind of public pledge. Even if legally these people don't seem to abide by anything, at least they will be obligated publicly to agree that whatever budget is passed, the money is actually going to be spent. In other words, oh my gosh, Congress really does have the power of the purse, not Elon Musk. So there are a variety of things that they could ask for and influence they could have. And it is imperative, I think, for Democrats on the Hill and maybe a few Republicans to wake up, that to remind themselves that we have another branch of government other than the executive. In fact, it's the first branch of government. It's Article 1. And when it comes to spending and it comes to our budget, it should be the most important. So I actually think this could be a very consequential moment where, if not a stop sign, maybe it's a speed bump for Donald Trump, and at least some awareness that the power of the purse resides with Congress and not solely with the executive.
I'm just trying to think from Trump's perspective, though, what would be his incentive to compromise? Because if in fact Democrats don't pass it, then, he can point to Democrats shutting down the government. He's not someone who wants to compromise. I mean, if it's his idea and then he, sees it's not working, he'll take it back, but he doesn't want to compromise with people. So I'm just trying to think from a practical standpoint, kind of, where do we end up with this?
Well, part of the job of Democrats is to explain whose fault this is. After all, these people do control the three branches of government. And if they chose to go off in a corner and write a budget that was so extreme and a continuing resolution that doesn't include Democrats, and they have practiced a course of conduct that is frankly unconstitutional, this really is their fault. And ultimately, a president, for better or worse, is responsible for not only himself, but his own party. And I think he probably does not want a full stop and does not want the focus on him and what Musk has been doing. Part of this is an effort in public education. Why are we shut down? It's because Trump and Musk not only have taken this extreme view of government and taken a sledgehammer to it, but have been acting in an unconstitutional way. I don't think he wants that scrutiny. If he didn't want the scrutiny, he wouldn't have, if he wanted the government to shut down, he wouldn't have put pressure on Republicans in the House to pass it. He would have let it blow up there. I think they do want government to keep functioning. They do want to keep the cover of an
Okay.
operational government and say, oh, see, we can run things. We're not incompetent. We're not chaotic. Everything is working out great. And it's not. And I think that that does exercise some level of discipline on him.